Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to see about handling files in PHP. So there were many functions in handling files in PHP. Some of them are creating a file, writing, reading, closing, copying, renaming, deleting, and handling file uploads. So first, we will see what is file handling. So file is nothing but a storage area of data in the system. So various operations can be handled in the files such as read, write, delete, and etc. So here we are going to see about opening, creating, writing, reading, and closing a file. So first one is opening a file. So to perform any operation in a file must be opened. So there were different modes in opening a file such as read only mode, write only mode, and so on. So once a file is opened, a file pointer will be seen according to the mode that we have opened the file. So these are the various modes in opening a file. Or specifies opening a file in read-only mode, W specifies opening a file in write-only mode, and A specifies opening a file in write-only mode. So there were many other modes in opening and executing a file. So first function is fopen function. This is used to open a file in PHP. Next one is syntax. Here $file is the variable name and fopen is the function, and in bracket we have file name and the mode of the file. So the file name is the file that we are going to use in the operation. So mode specifies in which mode the particular file should be opened. In this example, we have used the variable called a $myfile, and the file which we has to be opened is samplefile.txt, and it is to be opened in read-only mode. So if the file exists, it will be opened in read-only mode, and if the file does not exist, error will be displayed. So next one is creating a file. The fopen function is also used to create a file using various modes. In this example, $myfile is the variable name, and fopen is the function, and a test file is the file that we are going to handle, and W is the write mode of the file. So if this example is executed, the test file .txt file is opened with write only mode. If the file exists, it will be opened, or if the file does not exist, it creates a new file with this file name test file and with write only mode. So here it is the example. Here we have in coding we have sample. A file called a test file is opened. So in our folder, the test file is opened, and in the browser it is displayed as a new file is opened. So next one is checking the existence of a file. So this function is used to check whether a file exists in our system or not. The function used is file_exist of. If the file exists, it returns true value, and if the file does not exist, it returns false value. So next one is the syntax. Syntax is file_exist of filename.txt. So this is a sample example. Here we are going to check whether the old file.txt file exists in our system or not. So we use if condition to check whether the file exists. If the file exists, a true part will be executed. If the file does not exist, else part will be executed. Here actually we have old file in our system, so the output will be the file exists will be displayed. So here we don't have old file.txt in our system. So when the same file is executed, it returns the value as the file does not exist. So next function is exit off or die off. It is used to terminate the current running script, and it displays the error message in the browser. So here is the syntax. Here exit off message. So whatever message we give here will be displayed in the output screen. Either we can use exit or die. Both of them perform the same function. So here message is the optional parameter. If we want, we can give, or else we don't need to give. So here this is a sample example for exit of function. So here and in normal echo statement we will display a statement, and here we have used exit of function. It displays as program terminated. So once the exit of function is executed, the program will skip all the lines and it will come outside of the program. Here the same program is used for die function. It also performs the same function. So next function is file size of. It is an inbuilt function that is used to get the size of a particular file. So if the file exists, it returns the size of the file in bytes, or else it returns the false value. So this is the syntax. file size of file name.txt. So file size is the function, and the file which we have to get the size is given in the parenthesis. So whenever the file size is greater than 2 GB, it gives some unexpected results. So here we have displayed the size of a example1.txt file. So it is just only 21 bytes. So when I execute this program, it displays that file size as 21 bytes. So after opening the file, the next function we are going to do is writing in the file. To write a file in PHP, we have to open the file using fopen function in write only mode. Then we can use fwrite function to write the contents into the new file. So this is a syntax: fwrite of file name comma text comma length. Here file name is the file where we are going to write, and the text is the content which we are going to write inside the file, and the length is an optional parameter. So this is a sample example for writing into a file. Here first I am opening the file, a new file.txt with write mode, and then I am writing the content welcome to VCW inside the file. So here in this example, in our system, a new file is created inside our folder. So in the browser, it will display the output as file has been created, and inside the file, this welcome to VCW content will be written. So next, after writing into a file, then we need to read a file. So to read a file in PHP, we have to first open the file in read-only mode. Then we can use freader function to read the file. So this is the syntax. Here, freader function is used to read the file. It has two parameters. So first one is file pointer. Next is the file size of file name.txt. Here file pointer represents the file pointer, and file size gives the inbuilt function that gives the size of the given file. So this is the sample example that we have example1.txt in our system. So when I execute here, I am opening the file with read-only mode. Then I am checking whether the file has some contents. If the file does not exist, it will execute the die function, and error message will be displayed. Or else it will read the represented file. That is, it will read the example1.txt file. So here in the example, inside the file it is written as this file is used as an example for fread function, and in the browser it displays as this file is used as an example of fread function. So in the same way, if the example1.txt file does not have any content inside it, it will return an error message, warning message. So if the example1.txt file does not exist, it will display the error message as this one. So next function is fget is a function. It is an inbuilt function to read only a single line of a specified file at a time. So the syntax is fget as of file name and length. So length is the optional parameter. So only file name must be given compulsory. So this is the example for this one. So here I have opened I am going to handle with the file example1.txt. It is opened in write-only mode. Then I am checking whether the file has some contents. So I am going to write 3 lines. This is line 1, this is line 2, and this is line 3 inside the function, inside the example1.txt file. Then first I am writing, and then I am opening the file in read-only mode, and I am reading the contents. So here in the output screen, we can see only first line of the output is displayed, because this function reads only one line of the file. So next one is feof function. It is an inbuilt function. It is used to check the end of the file. So it is plainly used in looping conditions. So this is a syntax, feof of file name. So let us see this example. So here I am opening the example1.txt file in read-only mode. So it is checking using a while loop for this function. It is checking whether the end of the file has reached. If it is not at the end of the file, then it will display the first line. Then again loop will execute. Then it next checks for the next line. Again it is checking whether we have reached the end of the file. No. Then again second line will be displayed. Then again third time also it is checking. And fourth time when it comes for while loop, it becomes false and comes out of the whole program. So next one is closing a file. So just fclose off is used to close the file. So whenever a file is opened, it must be closed. So fclose of file name is the syntax for this one. Next one is copying of. So copy of function is used to create a copy of already existing file. So copied file is called source file, and whatever we create, that is copy whatever create is called the destination file. So here this is syntax. So copy of, first we have to give the old file name, comma, the name of the new file to be created. So see here, this is on the example. So here we have example 1.txt, and we are going to copy the contents of example 1.txt into example 2.txt. So we just give the copy of function and old file name. Actually here the old file is kept in the name file underscore name, and the new file name is kept under copy file name. So both of them we are using inside the copy function. So here we see example 1 is copied to example 2. So in the browser it will display us you have successfully copied the files. So next one is renaming a file. Rename of function is used, and here the syntax is old name and the new name we have to give. So here I have old name as example 2 and new name must be example 3. So both these names must be assigned to a variable, and the variable is only passed inside the function. So rename of old file variable comma new file variable. So here see. So old file name is example 2 is replaced here with example 3. So next one is deleting a file. So here unlink of function is used to delete a file. So just the syntax is unlink of whatever file we have to delete, it must be given inside the parenthesis. So here I have example 3.txt. So I'm giving unlink of that file. Actually we have assigned the example 3.text inside a variable. So here unlink of that variable name must be given. So in the next output screen, that example 3.txt file has been deleted. Thank you.